The stage lights hit like a storm. The crowd held its breath in heavy silence. A shy girl stepped into the spotlight slowly. Her hands shook. Her eyes avoided every stare. She looked fragile, almost invisible in that massive space. Judges exchanged quiet, uncertain looks. The audience whispered, unsure what was coming. This didn't feel like a star. This didn't feel like greatness was about to begin. She barely spoke. Her voice was soft, fragile, almost fading away. But then everything changed. The music began, and something inside her snapped open. She transformed in seconds. Like another soul suddenly took control. Wild energy, raw emotion, unfiltered power. The same girl who looked terrified now commanded the entire stage. People jumped to their feet instantly. Shock turned into disbelief, and disbelief turned into pure amazement. But here's the truth. What the world witnessed that night was only half the story. Because behind that explosive moment, there was pain. Deep, quiet, hidden pain. The kind nobody cheers for. The kind nobody truly understands. And that night was not just a breakthrough. It was a breaking point. So what was really hiding behind her smile? What truth lived behind that powerful voice? And why did her journey feel so heavy? Even in her brightest moment, long before the spotlight, there was silence. Not peaceful silence, but a lonely, suffocating quiet. Courtney grew up different. Not loud, not confident, not the kind of child people noticed. She stayed in the background, always watching everything, always absorbing every moment, but rarely speaking a word. School felt overwhelming. Classrooms felt too loud. Voices felt too sharp. Eyes felt like constant pressure. Every small moment felt heavy. And this is where it gets worse. Because being different often means being misunderstood. People didn't see her sensitivity. They saw awkwardness. They saw silence. They saw something they couldn't explain. And sometimes, they judged her for it. That kind of pain doesn't disappear. It builds slowly inside you, layer by layer, until it becomes a weight you carry everywhere. A weight that never fully leaves. But here's the truth. Inside that quiet girl, there was a storm waiting, a voice desperate to be heard, a power ready to break free. Music became her escape. Not just a hobby, not just something she enjoyed. It became her only safe place. A world where judgment didn't exist. A place where she could finally breathe. When she sang, everything shifted. Fear faded away. The noise disappeared completely. The pressure melted off her shoulders. And for a moment, she felt free. But here's what nobody tells you. Even safe places can turn into pressure. Because once people notice your gift, they expect more from you. They want more from you. And slowly, that safe place becomes a stage. Her family noticed her talent early. They believed in her deeply. They supported every step she took. They encouraged her forward. But even love can feel heavy. Because love often brings expectations. And expectations can feel like weight. Especially when you already feel fragile inside. Then came the opportunity. A moment most people only dream about. A stage watched by millions. A chance to change everything forever. America's Got Talent. It sounded like a dream to everyone else. But for her, it felt like fear. Standing in front of that crowd. Being watched. Judged. Analyzed by millions. It was terrifying. But she still said yes. Because something inside her refused to stay hidden. Something inside her needed to be seen. The day finally came. The stage felt bigger than her imagination. The lights burned brighter than ever before. The crowd felt louder than anything she had known. And suddenly, that quiet girl returned. Frozen in place. Overwhelmed by everything around her. Almost unable to move. People watched in silence. Some looked confused. Some looked doubtful. Some expected nothing at all. And for a moment, it felt like everything might collapse. But then, the music started. And something shifted again. This wasn't just a performance. It was a release. It was emotion finally escaping. It was years of silence turning into sound. She didn't just sing. She let everything out. Every fear. Every doubt. every hidden emotion. And the world felt it instantly. But here's the deeper truth. That kind of moment comes with a cost. Because when you give everything, you leave nothing inside. The audience saw magic. They saw confidence. They saw power. But they didn't see the exhaustion. They didn't see the emotional drain. They didn't see what came after. And this is where things get complicated. Because success came fast. Too fast to process. Viral clips everywhere. Millions watching her overnight. People calling her a star instantly. Praise coming from every direction. Attention from every corner. But attention can feel overwhelming. Especially when you're not ready for it. Especially when anxiety already lives inside you. Suddenly, she wasn't invisible anymore. She was seen by everyone. Every move watched closely. Every performance judged harshly. Every moment analyzed deeply. And that kind of pressure can crush you slowly. Something felt wrong. Even when everything looked perfect. The more she succeeded, the heavier it became. Perform better. Sing stronger. Be more confident. Be more perfect. And slowly, that safe place started to feel like a trap. But then everything changed. The expectations became louder than her own voice. The fear returned. Stronger than ever before. She wasn't just performing anymore. She was trying to prove herself. To the world. To herself. And this is where it gets worse. Because when you start proving yourself, you forget who you really are. The joy begins to fade. The pressure takes over. The fear grows louder again. Behind the scenes, there were quiet struggles. Moments nobody ever saw. Moments without applause. Moments filled with doubt. Was she good enough? Could she keep going like this? Did she even want this anymore? Questions without clear answers. The world kept watching her rise. But nobody saw her internal battle. Because on stage, she still looked unstoppable. But inside, she was still that quiet girl. Trying to find safety again. Trying to feel okay again. Then came the hardest moments. Performances where pressure felt unbearable. Moments where fear nearly took control. Moments where everything felt too much to handle. And nobody expected it. Because from the outside, she looked fearless. But inside, she was fighting just to hold on. And this is the truth people miss. Talent doesn't remove fear. Success doesn't erase anxiety. Fame doesn't heal pain. Sometimes, it makes everything louder. But then came a quiet realization. A moment away from the chaos. Away from the noise. Away from the pressure. A moment where everything slowed down. She understood something powerful. She didn't need to prove anything. Not to the world. Not to the judges. Not even to herself. She just needed to be real. That was the real turning point. Not louder performances. Not bigger moments. But honesty. Allowing herself to feel everything. Without fear. Without chasing perfection. And slowly, something changed again. Not a dramatic transformation. But a quiet healing. She started finding balance again. Step by step. Understanding her limits. Respecting her emotions. And this is what most people never see. Because healing isn't loud. Healing doesn't go viral. It's quiet. Slow. Deeply personal. But it matters more than anything. Her journey was never just about singing. It was never just about fame. It was about facing fear. Facing pressure. Facing herself. And choosing to keep going. Even when it felt impossible. That's the real story. Not the performance. Not the applause. But the struggle behind it. The courage it took to step onto that stage. Even when everything inside said no. The strength it took to continue. Even when fear never left. And that is what makes her story powerful. Not perfection. But persistence. Not confidence. But courage. Because courage isn't about being fearless. It's about moving forward. Even when you're terrified. And maybe, that's the lesson people needed. That the strongest voices often come from the quietest souls. That the biggest stages don't silence inner battles. And that success doesn't end the struggle. It just teaches you how to carry it. Her story didn't end on that stage. It continues every single day. With every step she takes forward. With every moment she chooses herself. Not the pressure. Not the expectations. But herself. And that is the real victory. Because in the end, it was never about winning. It was about surviving the journey. And finding peace within it. What do you think about this?